Welcome back. British officials are investigating whether the London attacker had any contact with ISIS. It comes after the terror group called Khalid Masood a soldier of ISIS. Nina Dos Santos joins us now from London. And Nina, ISIS had claimed responsibility, but is there any known contact between ISIS figures and this attacker?
So far, there isn't any known contact, and that's why the Metropolitan Police and counter-terrorism officials believe that that claim that he was one of their soldiers could well have been opportunistic by ISIS, and that although Khalid Masood may have been inspired by ISIS to commit these attacks, he may not have actually had any contact or steering or advice from the group. The reason why they've come to this assumption, although I should caution it's just a working assumption at this point, is that there hasn't been a video that has been released of him claiming his allegiance to ISIS posthumously, and that comes in contrast with, for instance, Anis Amri, the Berlin attacker who was shot dead by police in Milan in Italy at the end of last year. He very quickly he had filmed a video of himself pledging allegiance to ISIS, and that very quickly was disseminated by the organisation. So for the moment, they're still working on the assumption that Khalid Masood was working alone. And I should also mention that they have now released the two people who they were still holding in custody, two men from Birmingham, one aged in his 50s, the other one in his late 20s. They've been released without any further charges or cautions. So at the moment, out of those 11 arrests that were made, most of those people have actually been released without any sort of charge so far. So that points to, again, a picture of Khalid Masood having been inspired for some reason and radicalised for some reason to commit these attacks, but having planned to do so alone. Linda?
And Nina, there is some interest in what ties he may have had in Saudi Arabia. I understand he was working there as an English teacher. What are you learning?
That's right. He visited the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at least 3 times over the last 12 years, twice for a 1-year stretch at each time to work as an English teacher, so entering on a working visa. But perhaps the most interesting visit for authorities here and police investigating this case at Scotland Yard will be the last visit that he made, which was in 2015, so almost exactly 2 years ago, when he entered on a pilgrimage visa in the month of March. They'll probably want to know who he interacted with there. Did he go there with anybody from the United Kingdom? Those are the kind of questions that they're also going to be asking. And just going back to who he might have been in contact with, as I said, there are many arrests and many raids that have taken place across the UK since this attack took place throughout the mid-part of this week. Most of those people have been released. It seems as though they were family members, acquaintances and so on and so forth, and they've been released not on bail but just without any charges at all. But it seems as though he was in contact with somebody, though, about 2 minutes before the attack took place. They can confirm that he was using the encrypted WhatsApp messaging service to contact somebody 2 minutes before ploughing into people on Westminster Bridge. So it'll be imperative for them to find out who he was speaking to and what the nature of that conversation was. Linda?
Absolutely. Plenty of work still to do with this investigation. Nina Dos Santos, thanks so much. Well, the search for answers has led police to Birmingham, England. As Nina pointed out, Khalid Masood called the West Midlands city home until late last year. Nick Robertson toured the area and spoke with the attacker's former neighbours.
Number 4, Khalid Masood's home last year. Nondescript but large, plenty of rooms. A tranquil, respectable neighbourhood. And despite his violent past, the soon-to-be killer didn't break the calm here.
No, you never really seen him. The only way we would probably see him is if I was leaving my house and he just happened to be outside, whether he was cleaning his car.
Most of the times I remember him wearing a Muslim Islamic wear, as also his wife. She was covered, just her face was uncovered.
And the children, daughter, was she covered?
I remember a boy and a girl was wearing a scarf also on her head.
But what sort of age?
Primary school age, 6, 7, I would say.
Then, for no apparent reason, everything changed. Around Christmas last year, neighbours say they saw Masood out here on his driveway packing a moving van, taking his family away from this quiet suburban street. And this is where he moved to, a shabbier, less prosperous neighbourhood, right next to a busy main road. The same location armed police raided the night after the attack. 4 people arrested on suspicion of preparation of a terrorist act. Their landlord describes the low-rent rooms they were snatched from.
It is a 7-bedroom flat, which they've been turned into 7 individual rooms with 7 individual facilities with the rooms. So every room is separate to another.
So you might call them bedsits.
Yeah, it's like a student type.
Downstairs, the Minimart owner remembers Masood as a fitness fan.
And police guy come, he show me his photo as well. And I say I know him. He's come plenty times in my shop and buys Red Bull, sweet and cashew nut, pistache. And I know him now.
This is the official police photograph of Khalid Masood, who they say used to be called Adrian Russell Aggio and Adrian Elms. What happened to bring the changes? Unclear. Police still searching for clues. More raids, more arrests. Many, many questions unanswered. Nick Robertson, CNN, Birmingham, England.
Well, finally, you've probably heard of the Northern Lights, but the lesser-known Southern Lights are quite a spectacle. Take a look at that. Few people ever get the chance to see them because, of course, there's less inhabited land near the South Pole. 2 travellers managed to capture these images during the first ever chartered flight to see the lights near the Antarctic Circle. Quite spectacular. Well, thanks so much for joining us here on CNN Newsroom. I'm Linda Kincaid. Eco Solutions is next. First, I'll be back with the headlines.